Chapter 17 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex changes everything we know about Jura and the Shinju. It also explains the bizarre behavior we've seen from the Shinju ever since they've been introduced into the story. So according to Shikamaru, it is highly possible that the Shinju are not intrinsically evil, and they've just been acting on instinct just like newborn wild animals. There's even further evidence to support this, with the fact that when the Shinju appeared, Jura said that they are driven by instinct to acquire knowledge and are holding off on consuming the Otsutsuki. Another piece of evidence to support this, Jura was telling the other Shinju that they should listen to their instincts in order to know who their target is going to be. This changes everything we know about the Shinju because it means that the Shinju might just be blank slate that can be influenced by almost anyone, meaning they can be taught to be good or someone can also teach them to be evil. A prime example of this is Ryu and Matsuri, with Konohamaru and Team 7 on a mission in the Hidden Sand Village about to take on Ryu and Matsuri. Shikamaru's strategy for how Konohamaru and his team will defeat the Shinju is by making friends with them and then betraying them. Shikamaru assumes that it is possible to get them to trust Konohamaru and his team so that they can lower their guard, making it easier for Konohamaru to kill them and collect their Thorn Soul Bulb, which is what is needed to save the victims in the Clockworm trees. According to Kashinkoji's intel, returning the Thorn Soul Bulb to the specific victim in the Clockworm tree is how you are going to set that person free and save them. I'm guessing that it has something to do with the Thorn Soul Bulb containing the genetic information of the Clockworm tree victim and also acting like a tether to their chakra, which is what is creating the connection to their Shinju. So Shikamaru's strategy is riding on the assumption that the Shinju might not be intrinsically evil and it's possible to befriend them. Seeing as that Konohamaru was able to strike up a conversation with Ryu and Matsuri and even split them up under the pretenses of helping them look for Boruto, it's starting to seem like Shikamaru might have had the right idea about the Shinju. Even the way the Shinju were interacting with Konohamaru and Team 7, they had no hostility towards the Konoha shinobi, but what's even more interesting was Matsuri's reaction towards Konohamaru. Shikamaru told Konohamaru that the reason Konohamaru is Matsuri's target is because Matsuri has romantic feelings towards Konohamaru. She lost all her composure and couldn't even look him straight into the eye without hiding behind Ryu. This is a major revelation because it tells us that the connection the Shinju have with their targets is a lot more complex than we think. It also exposes what exactly is driving the Shinju's instinct. It might be the case that the Shinju also inherited the intense feelings that their Clockworm victims had for the person they thought about the most. I'm assuming that Moegi had feelings for Konohamaru that she hadn't yet gotten the chance to confess to him, and Matsuri ended up inheriting those feelings. Hence why she is targeting Konohamaru and even having that reaction to seeing and being around him. Ryu might be targeting Gaara because that's who Shinki was thinking about the most, especially considering the circumstances of how Shinki was turned into a Shinju. The same thing can be said for Sasuke Uchiha. Hidari is targeting Sarada because Sasuke was thinking about Sarada in his last moments. His last words before falling victim to the Clockworms was for Boruto to protect Sarada. His daughter was all he could think about in his last moment. As for Mamushi, we can assume that he is targeting Ada because of the infatuation that Bug had for Ada due to Ada's charm ability. So chapter 17 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex gave us answers to a lot of questions like why the Shinju are targeting certain people, how to save the victims in the Clockworm trees, and why the Shinju are behaving the way they do. The Shinju are not intrinsically evil and are most likely just acting like newborn wild beasts that are trying to understand the world and are acting on the orders of their elder sibling Jura. This leads me to believe that Jura might be the only Shinju that is truly evil. Even in the previous chapters, Kashinkoji has been warning Boruto about Jura, making it a point that Jura is the one that they should be looking out for, and they cannot afford to piss him off. Jura is the only one that knows why it's important for the Shinju to get rid of Boruto and Koji. He is the one that wants to kill them, and the others are just acting on his orders. The other Shinju have to wait for Jura to tell them who they should or shouldn't kill. Ryu is a confirmation of this. He tells Mitsuki and Sarada that the Konoha shinobi are nice people and that Jura has a lot of respect for them, and if it wasn't for that, he would have slaughtered them, indicating that the other Shinju are influenced by Jura and that they are not necessarily evil. Even with that considered, they are still dangerous and it's important to make sure that they are taken out before they can become evil, according to Shikamaru's strategy. And this is where this strategy might end up being the downfall of Konoha. assuming that the Shinju are truly blank slates that they can genuinely become friends with. Executing Shikamaru's strategy could end up being the thing that turns them into the monsters that Shikamaru is afraid they'll become. Shikamaru might be aware that this could happen because he even mentions that this is not a strategy that Naruto would agree to using, but also mentions that he is not Naruto and he has his own approach to dealing with certain situations. Team 7 is busy trying to gain Ryu and Matsuri's trust with the intention of betraying them. Ryu and Matsuri might be under the impression that the Konoha shinobi have genuine intentions towards them. Once they find out that their true intentions was to betray them, this is the first time that the Shinju will experience a betrayal of their trust. This might give them a bad impression about shinobi and people in general, thus leading to them having a bitter taste in their mouth and choosing to hate shinobi as well as humanity. The Shinju are still learning about themselves and they don't fully understand the emotions that they are feeling. They are still acting on instinct. The Konoha shinobi's betrayal will teach them how to feel negative emotions for the first time, which is bad news. When someone is feeling negative emotions because of someone else, their first instinct, especially when they are children, is to destroy whatever is causing those negative emotions. Ryu and Matsuri will have feelings of hatred for the Konoha shinobi and want to destroy them for their betrayal. Madara Uchiha's words are still manifesting even in this era. Hatred is born in order to protect love. Shikamaru's strategy of trying to protect Konoha and humanity from the danger that is the Shinju will give birth to the Shinju's hatred and cause them to become evil. Jura will lose the respect that he had for Konoha and use that opportunity to turn the other Shinju against Konoha even more. This is how the Konoha shinobi will be digging their own grave and the situation will become a whole lot more worse than it was, especially with the way that Yodo was acting during this mission. She seems impatient about getting Ryu's Stone Soul to save Shinki, and that impatience is going to ruin their mission. She is going to put all of them in danger, and I'm not so sure that all of them will make it out alive. Boruto even questioned Kashin Koji and wanted to know the success rate of their mission, but Koji refused to give Boruto a straight answer. Kashin Koji told Boruto that no matter what happens, he shouldn't interfere with Team 7's mission in the Hidden Sand Village. Cause if Boruto interferes with the mission in the Hidden Sand Village, Jura will show up and kill him, which is something that Koji cannot afford to have because Boruto is the key to stopping everything with the Shinju. It also turns out that Ada is still shaken by the time when Mamushi was able to see her using the ability of a Senrigan Dojutsu to spy on the Shinju. Kashin Koji requested her to watch the fight in the Hidden Sand Village and tell him what's happening, but Ada was too afraid to spy on the Shinju because she thought Mamushi would notice her and probably do something bad to her. But Kashin Koji gave her some reassurance by telling her that Mamushi is not going to notice her watching because he is not in the Hidden Sand Village. Everything is riding on the success of this mission. Konohamaru is going to get Matsuri's attention to be on him, and Sarada Mitsuki as well as Yodo and Araya will take on Ryu. It makes sense why Konohamaru is going for Matsuri. Konohamaru has been friends with Muegi for his entire life and knows all of her jutsu as well as her fighting style. He also has to use the romantic feelings that Matsuri has towards him to gain her trust and defeat her in order to get to her Thorn Soul bulb. On the other hand, Yodo and Araya were close to Shinki and they know what abilities he uses and also his fighting style. They'll be able to give Sarada and Mitsuki some guidance as to how to defend and exploit the weaknesses of Shinki's abilities that'll be used by Ryu. So when looking at it, this is a solid strategy. The only issue is whether or not they'll be strong enough to be able to avoid anyone getting critically injured or even dying at the hands of Ryu or Matsuri. Whether or not Yodo is going to ruin their mission is also a factor that needs to be considered. If something unfortunate happens and Boruto is forced to intervene, it is highly likely that Boruto might go and try to save his friends, which is going to alert Jura to Boruto's presence and they'll show up to kill Boruto. Boruto needs to make sure that no matter what happens, he is not going to interfere with the fight that is going on in the Hidden Sand Village, so that Kashin Koji won't have to deal with the reality where something happened to Boruto or Jura killed him, just like in the future outcomes he saw with Prescience. The consequences of something drastic happening to Boruto can amount to the destruction of the entire planet. As one of the three singularities that knows the truth about the multiple outcomes of the future, Boruto has to survive to make sure that he prevents the worst possible outcome and saves the entire planet from Code, the Otsutsuki, and the Shinju, as well as rescue his parents from Kawaki's captivity. The fate of the entire planet is entirely on Boruto's shoulders, and Kashin Koji as well as the shinobi world can't afford to let him die. So what do y'all think about this new information we have on the Shinju? And do y'all think Shikamaru's plan is going to work against the Shinju, or someone is going to die on this mission? Subscribe to the channel for more Boruto content, and check out this video that explains how Kakashi Sensei might finally make an appearance in Boruto.